Hi, I'm Dr. Mike with Execuspect Leadership Development. Thank you for taking a few minutes and watching this video. If you are watching this video, I'm going to assume that you have a need within your organization for leadership development, or at the very least, you're in the beginning process of researching the options that are out there. And maybe you're asking yourself, why would we consider Execuspect? And you might even be asking, what is Execuspect? Execuspect is a compound word that's found in our mission statement. We exist to develop successful executives by improving leadership perspectives. This is a very important thing to understand. But before I get into that, let me just tell you what separates Execuspect from other leadership development companies, other executive coaching companies. The first thing I would want to introduce to you is the fact that we use a scientific research method called triangulation in qualitative research. Now, that's a lot of big words that simply means we gather 3 points of information from each of your leaders. And that information helps us to create what we call an IPD, an individualized performance development pathway. And here's what we're gathering. First thing we want to know is, what is your leader's philosophy? What makes them believe? What drives them to communicate the way they do? Why do they believe that certain behaviors are acceptable? The second thing that we're gathering is their personality. Some of the things that they don't necessarily believe, but what just naturally comes out of them because of who they are innately, their personality type, temperament, and behavior. And of course, the last thing that we're gathering in this research process is their historic practice of leadership. Now, this is very important because there are people who, they're leaders, and maybe you have one or two or a few of them in your organization, that their history, their previous jobs, their previous bosses or previous leaders, or maybe an event or circumstance in their life has calibrated their thinking to behave in a manner that might not be natural to their personality, but it's something that they were calibrated to believe. So we gather personality, philosophy, and practice in leadership, and all of that information gives us a very clear pathway on how to help your leader become the best version of his or herself. Essentially, what we do is we identify needs for changes in human behavior, and we forge that path that is beneficial to every one of your leaders. Here's what it looks like. Now, a minute ago, when I talked about the perspective, this is what I mean by that. You see, when we approach a challenge, or we approach an obstacle or a problem or something that we have to solve, generally what happens is who we are naturally in our personality is how that's going to be communicated. How we build relationships, how we deal with frustration, how we deal with anger, how we deal with fear, how we deal with workers who just aren't being productive, or workers who aren't getting along with each other. All of that matters. And so what happens is leaders are generally communicating in a way that's comfortable for them, and it's not necessarily landing on the workers in a way that leader would intend for that to happen. Oftentimes, the biggest problems in our organizations are misunderstandings, miscommunications. I don't know why that person said this, or I don't know why they did that. But oftentimes, if we can get leaders to rethink how they're being perceived by those around them, then we can help them become a better leader, a better version of themselves. Now, here's what I would also share with you. This personality graphic that you're looking at is a very powerful way of communicating that ultimately interferes with this particular graphic here. Now, my research tells us that the most effective leaders are those who master servant and transformational leadership. And these are the 7 competencies, the 7 skills that define those. And if a leader can recognize his or her natural tendencies of personality and begin to reduce those and maximize these skill sets, now you have a leader who is on the path of becoming the best leader he or she can be, creating teams that are productive and loyal and committed. Now, these competencies that define servant and transformational leadership, we have a score that they really need to be up to. And this particular case study, these scores are a little bit lower. So we'd like to see at least a 5.0 across the board. This is an individual that needed some work, and we did work with this person. And by the end of this program, this leader had improved his understanding and comprehension of the competencies that define transformational and servant leadership. The reality is, sometimes those tweaks in leadership are simple, other times they're going to take a little time. And we're going to help you with that. And so here's what I would ask you to do. If you have any need or any question or any interest at all about bringing some executive coaching, some leadership development into your organization, please don't hesitate to reach out. info@execuspect.com or call us at 989-402-5029. We are a Michigan-based company, but we have the resources to be able to develop your leaders remotely. So give us a call. Let's have a conversation, and hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day.